Welcome back. Ottawa is announcing $16.5 million to help stabilize the political turmoil in Haiti. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made the announcement at a summit of French-speaking countries in Tunisia. $8 million worth of humanitarian aid will be delivered by the United Nations. The government is also funding ways to weed out corruption and prosecute gender-based violence in Haiti, including sanctioning 3 officials. The country has been dealing with gangs blocking access to fuel, a worsening cholera outbreak, and is also asking for military intervention.
It is not enough for Haiti's government to ask for it. There needs to be a consensus across political parties in Haiti before we can move forward on more significant steps. Part of what we have been doing over the past while with CARICOM, but also with various actors in Haiti, including from all different political parties, is to see and to try and create a sense of responsibility and consensus around how the international community can help in this situation.
The Prime Minister also announced an initiative for democracy in Francophone countries. I want to bring in CTV News political commentator and former NDP Leader Tom Mulcair. Tom, wonderful to see you as always.
Good to be with you, Angie.
This has been a very important last 10 days. Of course, the Prime Minister wrapping things up now in terms of the number of visits he's been making with the Francophonie Summit in Tunisia. Your thoughts, of course, now with the direct response. We know Canada's been keeping a very close eye on what's been going on in Haiti, but your response, sort of what we've been hearing from the Prime Minister with regards to the aid that's coming as well, but also looking at anyone that's here in Canada or any individuals involved, enforcing sanctions on them.
Yeah, for people who don't follow the Francophonie, it can be essentially compared to the Commonwealth, but for French-speaking countries. It's a bringing together of all of the countries that have French in common, and it's getting more and more pertinent on the world stage. I think that they've been professionalizing it and making it less symbolic and more real. So the work, for example, on Haiti is a very good example. I couldn't help but notice the very well chosen words by Prime Minister Trudeau. He's being so careful. If you look at that island, Hispaniola, one half of it is the Dominican Republic, where hundreds of thousands of Canadians go for all-inclusive holidays and stay in great beach resorts. On the same island, the other half, if you even look at a satellite photo, you'll see it's complete deforestation, and it's just a representation of the total devastation of that island. And Canada has to be so careful. $16.5 million, Angie, I know it's a lot of money to the average Canadian, but in a situation like this, it's just a drop in the bucket. But what we're trying to say as a country through Prime Minister Trudeau is we want to help. There has to be a strong desire across the political spectrum there to bring in more help. The Americans would love to be able to do more, but it is the basket case of our hemisphere right now, and it's very delicate to try to decide how to go in. The sanctions against some of the key people will make it harder for them to continue to use street gangs essentially as a private army. And some of them own huge properties. There's one who owns a magnificent property worth millions and millions of dollars just north of Montreal. So these are people who, through all sorts of means, have come up with lots of money. And at some point, the Canadian government, if we're going to play a role, we have to have a clear game plan to get in and then to be able to get out.
And we know that the government there has been calls with regards to extending Canada's involvement on the military side of it. The United States has said that Canada would be an ideal leader for such military intervention. But, of course, the Prime Minister stopping short on that, that being, of course, a much more complicated commitment, indeed, on Canada's part.
And that's why it has to be an across-the-board ask from the Haitian side. You can just imagine Canada has some outstanding troops. We could send in some special forces. They could take over the ports and throw out those armed gangs in a matter of a few days. I'm convinced of that. But then that would show images of Canadian soldiers shooting Haitians. And how do you explain that, and how do you end that intervention? So there has to be a clear game plan. I like Prime Minister Trudeau's reference to the whole community in the Caribbean, trying to do what it can to come together to help this incredibly impoverished country where people are dying of diseases that shouldn't exist in the advanced world, like cholera. And it's the situation that we're in right now in Haiti. It's a tragedy.
Really quickly, Tom, I want to squeeze this last one in. I know this week is going to be a huge one regarding the Emergencies Act inquiry. We will be having a number of politicians, including our Deputy Prime Minister, our Justice Minister, David Lametti, Bill Blair, also Marco Mendicino, and yes, the Prime Minister as well, testifying this week. Your quick take here on this is really a number of individuals, especially the PM, on the hot seat.
And this is why you need such a seasoned judge like Judge Rouleau to hear all of the evidence, because, of course, everybody's trying to pull at one thread and say, aha, this proves that they didn't have a clear case for invoking it because CSIS said it wasn't that type of national threat. And the other one saying, well, no, it's a different statute. So you need somebody of his stature to go through all of it. My sense so far is that they could have probably avoided the Emergencies Act if the Ottawa police had done their job earlier on. And I'm not talking about the individual officers who are outstanding. I'm just talking about the leadership, where we actually saw the chief of police have no choice but to resign as they were bringing in the Emergencies Act. And I think that that will be the ultimate conclusion. You know, in the context, in the situation in which we found ourselves, there was no other choice to get this thing done. And I think that that will be the reasonable conclusion. But it'll be interesting to hear the different politicians and watch which ones are good in front of a camera and in front of a judge and being cross-examined, and which ones try to twist and turn to get their way out of it. It'll be good theater. It
certainly will be. And what will be also interesting once we finally get, you know, what comes out of all of this is whether or not that definition, which that's also called into question, of what a threat to national security is going to mean. And in this case, they're sort of pushing to say, according to us, it came under the requirements.
Well, exactly. I mean, that was the argument some were making. Well, CSIS said there wasn't. Yeah, but CSIS has a statute. It has a different obligation. We're the government for all of Canada. We've got to look at this entire situation. And here's what we said.
All right. We will, as you say, an interesting week ahead. CTV's political commentator, former NDP leader Tom Mulcair. Thank you for this, Tom.
All the best, Angie.
You too.